On Jackass Forever on Blu-ray today, Johnny Knoxville and the Jackass Gang are back with new friends and celebrity guest stars for the most hilarious, outrageous pranks and dangerous stunts ever. The brand new movie is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and critics are calling it the best Jackass yet. Own it now on Blu-ray and get bonus, never-before-seen stunts, rated R from Paramount Pictures.
Running low on energy, long days and even longer nights. Tired of all the other energy drinks and bars promise you a lot and never delivering? Need to make it through work, but want a product that can keep up with your busy lifestyle? Want no longer? Try Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls. The balls that are so smooth and with a load of nutrients and vitamins to really get you up and bouncing off the walls. Made with all natural ingredients and healthy junk to satisfy even the pickiest eater. Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls are sold everywhere where you buy your junk. And now, for those who want that extra kick in the butt, comes Chef's Heavy Duty Chocolate Salty Balls with 120% more caffeine than the leading brand. Disclaimer: this product has not been approved by the FDA or World Health Association. Warning: this product is not intended for consumption by children, elderly people, or women who are pregnant or may become pregnant. You might even get pregnant. Do you like your pancakes patted, your biscuits buttered, your cakes fluffy? Then you should get Mother Butters. I put that on everything. Pasta, veggies, rice, and everything nice. Mother Butters will get you right. Oh yeah, GMO free, and for those who are vegan, Mother Butters has a non-dairy option. That's right, there's enough Mother Butters for everyone to enjoy. Get Mother Butters from your local grocery store. Hey man! What you doing in my kitchen?
In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. Imagine that, a future that's super black. Long as your skin brown, your superpowers intact. What would your powers be? Just hope it ain't super whack. Spatial manipulation, create a portal that's black. Maybe just super speed, time travel to run it back. Or cheat manipulation to keep my spirit intact. As I encounter evils the world face, demons the world makes, I'm needed the world at stake. Rest in peace to Chadwick, they killed all the Black Panthers. Told us white lies, I still marvel at black answers. Suits in DC, pray it lead to a civil war. It ain't no Justice League, what's the need to be civil for? Propelled like the juggernaut, it's clear ain't no stopping this. The world in grave danger, who can stop the apocalypse? They killed all the heroes, the new ones don't really care. But if you need me, put your fist up in the air. Yeah, in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to Blurred's Eye View, Northeast Ohio favorite threesome, blurred threesome that you'd actually like. If you're listening to us right on your podcast, be sure to follow us on YouTube as well. Hit that notification bell and get the latest in Blurred news. And if you're watching us right now, don't forget to subscribe to us on Twitch, which is Blurred's Eye 1, YouTube, and like I mentioned earlier, and you can listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iHeartRadio and now Opulence Radio. So what's going on, DC? Camera seems beautiful.
Sound like you were speaking Spanish.
Oh no! Why does your camera look so weird? What is going? Yeah, it looks weird. Let me fix that. Okay.
I don't know.
It looks awkward. I don't know. Anyway, what's been going on with you, man?
Cool. Other than it sounded like you were speaking Spanish. For a minute
I took French. I never took it. I never. I took French and I failed that. So, merci beaucoup. That's fermer la bouche. And je m'appelle Christophe.
don't know who. I think it might be my internet.
Yeah.
I don't.
Hey, we got Groovy in the building. What's going on, Groovy? Groovy, a big supporter of the show. We have a special guest with us tonight. CJ, the music god. What's happening, baby?
Hey yo, what up?
I mean, I've been loving what you've been doing over there on your Reacts videos, man. It's dope stuff.
Well, I am official now. I am monetized and all. I went from on May 8th, I had 837 subscribers. I am now at 9,357 subscribers.
That's what's up, man. That is
so
what's up.
I was like, what's up? Like, I put a video up 36 hours ago, and I woke up like the next morning, like 8 hours later, and I had like 55,000 views. And I was like, oh shit. Like, that one kind of caught. Like,
whatever you're doing it right. So,
yeah, like that one just caught. Like, I was like, damn, okay, this dude obviously got some fans or something because they was on that one. So,
yeah,
I was
so,
like, you know what?
But I've been checking out. You're talking about the guy who was playing the guitar, which was
Elite Bata.
Yeah, that was dope. I liked what he was doing. I'm like, oh,
dude, he is so flawless, man. Like he plays like he's not even trying, but the little things about his style, it's so technical, you like almost miss it. Like in that video where he pulled that slide hammer on, like it was so fast, you almost missed it. But that is like one of the most difficult things of that whole song.
Yeah,
and the guy who wrote the song, John Petrucci, is a master guitar player. And he does it on electric guitar with harmonics. So to do it on an acoustic guitar is
it showed his skill level is
like dude is just crazy. And all kinds of he's got like Queen covers and Kiss from a Rose by CO, Hotel California. Got original stuff. I mean, the dude is just a phenomenal guitar player. And
yeah, I need to check this guy out because when I seen him on there, I was like, yo, that's some dope stuff he's doing.
He doesn't want to be famous. He's a forklift operator, and he only does it. He only does it just for something to do. He's had like 6-figure offers to go on tour and perform these huge shows, and he turns them down because he doesn't want to be famous. He wants to just be him, which is crazy.
Would you say he's a bit too humble? Too humble?
Dude, you know what? I get it. Because I'm going to tell you, at 15 years old, I had one plan in life. I was going to be a rock star. My grandpa said, you need a backup plan. My backup plan, I was going to be a rock star. I went through it, got the band together, got a record label interested. We went out on tour. We were actually on tour with Pantera. And after about a week and a half, 5 guys in a 15-foot cargo van traveling to the south, we pulled over on the side of a road in Louisiana. And at that point, we were going to go home or we were going to go to prison for murder because we were tired, hot, sleeping in the parking lot of Walmart, sharing a Happy Meal between 5 people because we were making no money. It is not
lifestyle.
Bro,
right.
I was gonna say it is not for the weak. It is not for the weak.
That's a traveling style. You can't. That's not the traveling style you want to adopt.
I learned. I brought my ass home and I went to truck driving school. That was my dream of being a rock star. We're like, fuck that.
So, we gonna get right into it. If you tuned into the show last week, which YouTube kind of blocked, hate us. But if you've seen us on YouTube and on Twitch,
Vince McMahon says you're fired.
I think Vince got enough problems on his hands with Sasha Banks and Naomi walking off. So,
well, the story behind that is crazy because apparently they wasn't getting the respect they felt they deserved, and then they had like 8 hours to rehearse, and then the people they're supposed to be fighting they didn't feel comfortable with. Even though it's all scripted and rehearsed, they were supposed to win. They just didn't feel safe. So this Friday, Naomi's supposed to,
which is crazy because the report says the people that they didn't want to work with was Becky Lynch and Asuka, which is
Well, they're supposed
Why
to
the
be
hell
like
would
a
you not want to work with
6-woman.
Asuka? Like, Asuka's never injured anyone. Becky's never injured anyone. They don't have a history of that. You know, my bigger question was Sasha kind of but with Naomi, what kind of position has this put Jimmy in now?
Right.
Oh, they
Because now
good.
Jimmy either got to
They
support his wife and go against WWE, or got to support his job and go against his wife. But he's in the
Well,
spot either way. Like,
if he's
I
a
mean,
smart
she'll be
man,
back. She'll be back Friday on SmackDown to explain what happened. So, I mean, I don't know if it was a shoot or a work, but we're gonna find out Friday.
something.
I don't think
So-
it's a shoot. I think there's probably legitimate issues that it was handled wrong, and they thought they were doing the right thing, but they're kind of up against.
Well, they've been having
much
some issues
bigger.
as of late with a lot of their roster.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, so
I mean-
it's not like, okay, like tonight's show is the Attitude Era Part 2, and we know that the WWE, WWF, however you affectionately know it as, has always had some behind the scenes issues. You know, exactly,
Behind the
politics,
scenes,
money,
In
and
front of
you
the
know,
scenes too.
it was. You know, there was some skits or storylines that I don't know how they got away with.
It was a different time.
Yeah, we know that, but I mean, it was so we talked about last week. We talked about like some of the greatest promos. You know, Rock was up there. You know, Triple H was up there. You know, some of the funniest moments and some of the most insane grocery fights, and Stone Cold consistently whooping Vince's ass, which is always gold to me. When you get slapped upside the head with a bedpan, you know, that's just funny to me. So, but CJ, we're gonna start with you.
Okay.
During that era, what was some moments that really stood out to you, or storylines that you're just like, okay, that was good? Because as we all know, wrestling is scripted. It's scripted, but you know, people say it's fake. It's not really fake. You know, you still taking hits, you still taking falls. I mean, like
It's like a movie.
This right here, to me, you can't script that.
Well,
To a certain degree, anyway. Hell in a Cell, you can only script to a degree. You know, that particular.
You can script it, but scripting it and executing it,
a totally different thing.
Is the thing. Like Shane jumping off the monitor, or the whatever they called that big ass thing. When he did with the Big Show. Right. Okay, you can say, okay, Shane's going to take the big dive, but that's still 40 foot that he's falling.
It's still, yeah.
Now, no matter
wrong, you could,
on Big Show's end of it, even as a big dude, you still got a 200-pound Shane coming at you from 40 feet that you have to essentially brace yourself for.
Yeah.
Okay. JBL, when him and Ron Simmons were the APA, going all the way back even before that to the NWA days with the Russians, the Koloffs.
Yeah.
There is no way to properly brace for that JBL clothesline or for that Nikita Koloff clothesline, that Russian sickle. That thing they were vicious. So even the toughest dudes are still going to get injured in the execution of that. And then things go wrong. Triple H tearing his hamstring when he's on the desk that time because it was slippery. His foot went out from underneath him.
Right.
Rob Van Dam, the only serious injury that Rob Van Dam had in his career, all of the crazy, insane crap that Rob Van Dam did, the only major injury was his broken leg, which he sustained or got from a baseball slide under the bottom rope.
Yeah.
Which is a basic move.
I think the most tragic thing we've actually, I mean, I don't even want to say you've seen, but I have to commend the camera crew at that time for like it was a snap. Like, okay, we knew something was wrong. Was when Owen Hart fell, when that harness broke and he fell. That was probably, like I said, I got to commend the camera crew because you have thousands and thousands of people live, watch, there watching it, and we're not even counting the people at home at that said time who have.
And that's the worst case scenario. Like that's the worst of the worst case. Like they're trained. Okay, somebody's injured. You do this, but you don't train for that. You don't prepare for that. You don't expect that to ever happen. The fact that it hasn't happened, other than that, with all the time Sting did it and all the time Owen did it and the other people, in ECW, all of the dives that the Dudleys, Spike especially, took off that balcony, all of the crazy crap that New Jack.
Oh God, yeah.
All the crap that New Jack and Sabu did. The fact that somebody didn't die from that is miraculous. Because I mean,
let New Jack tell it.
That was legit, though.
Yeah, he
damn near wanted out there wrestling with a legit broken leg.
Yeah, So you mentioned the Dudley Boys because this is something else that was on the docket. This was probably one of the best times for tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Dudley Boys. You had, let me pull some of their pictures up if I got them. I should have them. Yeah, you had the Dudley Boys. You had
the Dudley Boys, and there's the police.
Yeah.
You had the Dudley Boys. You had the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
You had the Hardy. You had Lita, who was always kind of like, she wasn't even third wheel. She really stepped up the plate. You had these two knuckleheads.
Yeah.
Still can't remember. Like some of the stuff had Nation of Domination.
Showing the 3-minute warning to them two.
Yeah, exactly. But Dink and Doink, we're not even going there. But but I mentioned, we had said last week that we had favorite tag teams, and I said the Dudley Boys. They were pretty, coming from ECW, like you mentioned, and watching just how insane the level of intensity between them whenever they had a match. Christian and Edge, Test and Edge, the Hardy Boys, those made great tag team matches.
Well, they took it to another level. They were allowed to do stuff that is, well, let me rephrase that. They created stuff that is expected of tag teams now. And there were tag teams that did things then that you simply couldn't do now. Tag teams such as, and I'm looking at a massive list because one of my brackets that I have coming up for my show is the greatest tag team wrestlers. And we're going to put 64 of the best in there, randomly generated in just free for all. But you had groups like the Briscoes, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, the Valiant Brothers, Briscoe and Brody and Hansen, Stu Hansen.
Okay, yeah.
You had the Blackjacks, who they were just tough dudes. There wasn't a lot of finesse to what they did. They got in the ring, they beat the piss out of each other, okay? And they made it look good.
The piss, the blood, the tears, everything they can get out of you, they was going to do it.
And then it evolved to, you had, Tully and Arn. You had groups that were tough, but the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, who they were tough, but they did stuff too that was more high risk and they made it exciting. And then teams like Edge and Christian come along and the Hardy Boys, and they upped it even more, to the point where they brought in sort of a lucha style. And, You know, it wasn't just about the technical side of it. But there was this sort of reckless abandon that it could go off the rails at any time. And it led to things like the ladder matches, Edge spearing Jeff Hardy off of the ladder as he grabbed the title. There's so many great moments that Rob Van Dam and Sabu together. Had,
definitely a major tag.
They were thing. Human highlight reels is what Taz used to call
it. They were giving you a show.
Yeah,
they were giving you a show.
You had Paul London and Brian Kendrick for a long time. It's still the longest reigning tag team champions of all time, even though 95% of people won't even remember Kendrick and London. They were phenomenal because they just put it all on the line and really were innovative in ways that you kind of take for granted now, because now everybody does what they were doing there, but hadn't been done before.
So DC, what do you? I can't remember who your favorite tags were, but what were your standout? Oh, the Rock and Sock Connection. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Entertainment. When I was watching wrestling, I wasn't watching for technical and moves and what's he doing. You know what I'm saying? The Kamagachi Crush. I wasn't looking for technicality. I was looking for pure entertainment. So for me, The Rock, Mankind, they gave me some of the best moments. Like The Rock, This Is Your Life, and his old teacher came out. You know what I mean? And the whole "Do you like pie" situation, man. Like that was for me as a kid growing up. That was my wrestling. I wasn't looking for moves, holds, or who was the champion. I was looking for pure who can entertain me and keep my attention. And it was Rock, Stone Cold, of course. But as far as tag teams, Rock and Sock Connection, as far as pure entertainment, if we're talking about like pure, just like
athleticism,
just crazy, just beat ass, and you know what I'm saying, have a good time. APA.
Oh shit!
Farouk was the fucking. They would beat your ass, go drink a beer, and then beat some more ass.
APA and New Age Outlaws were the two that I always wanted to see. APA because you knew what was coming, and New Age Outlaws was because they had that intro, Oh, you didn't know? And
you better call something.
Yeah. Dude, my internet radio show for 8 years, that was the opening of it, is that little segment. And then I cut it with a bunch of other stuff. But that was, to me, one of the greatest things until Cass and Enzo come along. Because, dude, there are those wrestlers who they're great technical wrestlers, but their mic skills suck. AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Ricochet. There are those guys.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Don't even get me going on Roman.
Oh my God.
I'm so sick.
Samoan Dynasty.
I'm so sick of Roman. Anywho, you have the guys like Stone Cold and Rock, who skill set was limited, but charisma beyond anything. And then you got your guys who could do both. The Miz, even though you hate The Miz, you can't deny the dude is a great technical wrestler and he can put asses in the seat. And then you got those guys who are just meant to be on the mic. Enzo. Look, is Enzo ever going to be a championship wrestler? No. But is there a better guy to hand a microphone to that is entertaining as shit between the running around like a damn chicken and the way he speaks? Enzo was born for that, bro. Like, he just,
See, now,
I wanted one of them T-shirts that was like, what do we have here? A couple of haters.
Yeah.
A couple of haters.
But I'm saying, if Enzo isn't a wrestler, straight up, if Flavor Flav ever retires, that's Chuck D's hype man.
Yeah.
I will
say, what
he tried to come out with a rap album,
that.
So
yeah, I can honestly say that as far as person with as a wrestler with mic skills at that time,
mm-hmm.
it's I'm and DC knows it. It's The Rock. It's it's somebody who came into the game, as Rocky Maivia. He's what, third generation? Yeah, third generation.
Yep.
And just finding his zone, and once
Mhm.
he found his zone,
Well, his
that
story is tragic to start. Like people
yeah,
Yeah.
this is
forget.
true.
Like
People forget
he had to
he had
endure.
he had death threats. Like people,
Yeah.
die, Rocky, die, just chatting.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
they,
Yeah.
like
He
he
had
had
to
this.
endure to
like
get to that point.
he
Yeah.
was not liked. He was not liked coming into
Yeah.
the
Well,
game.
that's because Vince has this innate thing where he, like, that's why Roman wasn't liked in the beginning.
Yeah.
After the Shield split, he has this thing where he likes these big guys, the big strong guys, and he wants to push these people. And when you try to get them top billing too fast, and you try to force feed them to the fans, it doesn't always work out. Like you can't force feed everybody to everybody. Like he was trying to spoon feed. Oh, he's third generation and he's Samoan and this and that. And then he's a handsome guy and he's athletic, and they just really moved
Roman
him
is,
too
I think, it's
fast.
like fourth generation, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
man, that whole family is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
It
lie.
is for
Like,
real.
But
from
my
Yokozuna to fucking Rikishi, Umaga, the
my
Usos,
biggest
the Rock, to Mia, fucking Tamina, fucking
yeah.
Nia Jax.
Like, and the thing,
like
and the
that.
connections is
Yeah,
crazy.
Solo.
The
And then
connections are
the
crazy.
Usos' younger brother is in
Yeah,
NXT.
it's like Solo Sika
Yeah,
is there
like,
now.
there's more behind, more than that. There's
Yeah.
some in other places.
You got Gorillas of Destiny, which is Haku's
yeah,
kids.
them damn
And he's
they all family.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the whole.
I mean,
It's
right
I-
now,
bloodline is
I know when I
crazy.
last heard, Rock's oldest daughter
Yep.
She's trying to
Danny.
is training.
Danny is training to be, and that's here's the pro and con of that. The pro is obviously it's another generation. The con of that is you've got to live up to that legacy.
Right.
That's the problem. Like
So
way
They're expecting that same energy
yeah, like
that her father brings.
and
not only that,
sometimes
to try to carry that name.
yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes okay, you're the daughter of Tully Blanchard. Okay, you're the daughter of a legend, but it's a legend who is
Yeah.
a legend. When you're a Charlotte Flair or
Mhm.
Mhm.
a Danny Johnson or a Cody Rhodes, that's a whole different level of
Pressure.
pressure
Yeah.
because you're not just living up to the name of a legend, you're living up to the name of the legends. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you drop that ball,
It just
you
looks
know,
bad.
you're
It
gonna
looks
get
bad.
it
Yeah,
even worse.
you're almost tarnishing the name. You're
Yeah,
almost
like,
tarnishing the name.
it's like being the child of a rock star in a sense of it's really a horrible position to be in. Okay, you're Bob Dylan's kid.
It's worse all the way around. Like imagine being LeBron's son or fucking who's a pillar
Michael
in rap?
Jordan's
Like Diddy's son.
Yeah.
or Diddy's
All
son.
of them
Yeah,
Jordan's son.
It
Michael
failed.
Jordan's son failed.
yeah.
UFC. He went to UFC and thought he was gonna be because he's a Jordan. It was
Yeah.
gonna give him no.
Mm-mm.
It's like Shaq.
Yeah.
I like Shaq the way he treat his kids. Deion Sanders too. He's like
Yeah.
just because y'all got
Earn
my
it.
last name, y'all still got to work for it.
Yep.
Y'all might go to his kids go to his school, but they still got to earn playing time. They
Yep.
still gotta do
And-
the thing.
And they should, man. Like you
Yeah.
gotta.
You can't
Pay
show
your
that
dues.
favoritism.
You
You
gotta
don't
pay your dues.
expect. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And that's what
Exactly.
happened to The Rock. People felt he didn't pay his dues. He just came into the WWE, trained, and they put him into an intercontinental match at SummerSlam, like his first match ever. Like he
Yeah,
didn't
I
pay
remember
dues,
that. I
and a lot of
remember
people resented that, and the fans did too. It's like, who you got this poo butt out here, this new dude, and we got wrestlers who we didn't fell in love with, and we've been rooting for, and then this new guy just come get a shot like that. He ain't been here longer than a cup of tea.
But see, he flipped it in his favor.
Yeah.
I think he had to.
He had no
He
choice.
had to.
Yeah.
They don't like
he
me.
had to flip
They
it.
hate me. They want me to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that against them. Die, Rocky,
Right.
die. Well, fuck you.
Yeah. And he endured a lot to get to that point, whether it was the Maivia thing, which is something he never wanted. He didn't want the Maivia name.
He wanted
Right.
Dwayne Johnson.
And even the Nation of Domination, and then there had been another one, and they turned them back and forth like 365 times during that era. Like you didn't know at what point he was a good guy and a bad guy. It just kind of lost.
Oh yeah, not the Authority. It was the was it the Authority?
I know what I think it was the
When
Authority.
he was aligned with Shane and Vince.
Yeah,
and all that,
you had the Authority
and
and you had the Corporation and you had
the Corporation. That's what it was. The Corporation.
The Corporation.
Yeah, like
you know, Nation of Domination, Corporation.
It kind of lost meaning in that sense, but he was always a great performer. You knew, like when him and Austin were together.
Oh, you getting gold.
It was going to be the best you were going to see, you know.
Stone Cold and Rock, Triple H and the Rock, Triple H Stone Cold.
Yeah.
I mean,
at the time, Shawn Michaels when Triple H was at that time. Because Eddie Guerrero.
You know, when Vince wasn't tripping over his dick, basically. You know, like my biggest pet peeve right now with WWE programming isn't even the storylines. It's the fact that they've hit a point where finishing moves don't mean anything now.
Yeah.
You
know what I'm saying? It used to be Randy's RKO. That was the move. Bam, the Legend Killer. It was over. Now this last match,
the stunner, the people's elbow, the sock, these things, the claw, the choke slam, the power
now
driver,
you got everyone kicking out of them. It's like they don't even mean anything, and it's like, why have a finishing move if everyone's just going to kick out of it? Why is Roman going to kick out of 3 RKOs and then win with a spear? And not even a good spear, not even a Goldberg spear or a Crusher spear, but just a mediocre spear. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You're an Anoia. Get a better freaking move. Okay, the Usos have an arsenal of freaking moves that they can pull off. Solo has an arsenal of moves he can pull off. That entire family always had an arsenal. Roman's got like 3 moves. It's like, why are you just kind of putting yourself in this box?
So let's talk about it. You mentioned the finishing moves. Who has, from the Attitude Era, and we start with GDC, who had the best finishing move? If you take your favorite wrestler, because I know it's The Rock. So if you had a second choice, who would it be?
Me?
People's elbow?
No, if you had to pick a second choice.
I can't pick Rock for nothing. On the finishing
no, because I already know it's going. I know that's your hit.
I'll tell you who I thought had the best finishing move. He was kind of short-lived. I think he might have been just a hair before the Attitude Era. But what I always thought was the most devastating finishing move, that was One-Man Game. That front face suplex. You know, that freaking suplex where he picked you up and just slammed you forward on your face and falling forward. I always thought that was one of the greatest.
I always thought he was going to break somebody's neck.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's how bad it was.
The other one was actually TNA was the Canadian Crippler, the whatever that damn move is that P.D. Williams created. The
fucking like flipping thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fucking
yeah.
That move,
that was nuts.
Yeah, when Bad Bunny pulled that off there a few months ago, dude, that was like crazy because here's a dude who, like 2 months of training, he's pulling off one of the most technical finishing moves there is. Like, this is that's a hard ass move to do, dude. Like, and there were moves that just they looked better than they were. There's 100 versions of the stunner or the RKO.
I was gonna say the stunner and the ankle submission, people would sell the hell out of.
Yeah, like I always thought he had the best version of that, the diamond cutter. Like his was more explosive. It kind of just happened and.
So what was yours?
It felt lazy when he did it. Like it just
it's because
like
it was because
neck and lay down. Like Randy Orton, his feels like it has more explosiveness to me. Like it has more venom in it. Like I don't. But I remember like when he first started. Well, if I had to pick a finishing move,
pick 2. I'll let you have. And you can pick The Rock if you want.
No, you can't go wrong with a good stunner.
Mm-hmm.
And now I gotta go back to Attitude Era because I know he was just there last week, but there was so many moves that you had like the fucking Dominator from Farouk,
Yeah.
Yep.
the Pearl River Plunge from Ahmed
Ooh.
Johnson. I mean, a good clothesline from Hell always stopped a good match.
Yep.
It
Like,
did.
you ever seen the motherfucker get flipped inside out? That's the move to do it.
And,
Like,
and and that's the thing to me. To me, the best finishing move, or one that was always my favorite, and the one that terrified me as a kid, going back to the early days, Nikita Koloff with that Russian sickle.
oh yeah,
Dude, when Nikita hit you with that sickle, it was over, bro. It was just like, bam, you know. And Rick had a good version of it. Scott had a good version of it, but it was nowhere near what Nikita had. Like Nikita's, and then Nikita come out, he had that Russian angle during the time when the Russians were bad guys.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Nikita was just like all the time. And Nikita scared the shit out of me, bro, because he was just, he looked like he was there to shit on everything you owned. And he's a freaking minister now. He has like a Christian wrestling in North
what
Carolina.
I like the flatliner.
Ah, yes.
It evolved into Sister Abigail a little bit, but like
Yeah.
the original flatliner
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
Who was that? Rigor Mortis and shit.
The 3D when the Dudleys first had the 3D was innovative,
Yeah.
and now it's kind of just like, okay, you got all kinds of people who do it. It's, I mean, there were just, like I said, there's stuff that happened during that era. It's taken for granted now because you've seen it so much and everyone does it now. You're
right. And you're right. You're right. When you look at wrestling now, the finishing moves aren't even the stars anymore.
right.
It's not the thing that hypes people up. It seems like the hype up is the getting into the ring and the showboating and the flair and the flash and the bang. And it's not the same.
Yeah. There used to be an unspoken rule you didn't use someone else's finisher. And now that's just whatever, everyone uses.
I mean, DC mentioned some of the best matches was always between like The Rock and Stone Cold. And it was always funny because every time the stunner was done on Rock, I've never seen people oversell a stunner like Rock, and we still were so hyped for it because he stunned you, and somehow he ends up flipping up on the other side of his body and flipping over. And it was just like, yo, he stunned the dog shit out of the Rock. And then Rock in the people's elbow, when you running through that ring and you got your little Gucci shirt on and it's just flapping in the wind and you slide on them shoes and you drop that elbow.
Yeah.
And it just worked. It was just the way everything was sold then. And
yeah. And you had Vince out there, fellow son of the life.
It was a different time because we wasn't privy. We wasn't privy to a lot of the going on backstage, so a lot of the kayfabe wasn't broken like it is today. Like social media and all this other stuff running wild and reality shows and all this other stuff. You didn't get an insight. You didn't know the Undertaker. You thought the Undertaker was really a dead motherfucker for like 10 years because you never see this motherfucker out of character.
Yeah.
So every time you see the Undertaker,
just when you thought you got rid of him, this motherfucker, he'd come back up. He'd come right back.
Ric Flair was an asshole. Playboy
He'd come
asshole.
right back up with that same look.
Stone Cold was the redneck. You didn't get these breaking characters like you do today, so we wasn't privy. Like I said, you didn't know motherfuckers had a life outside of wrestling. You thought this was who they were.
Who they were.
And then, once we got to the what was next, the ruthless aggression era.
Tables, ladders, and chairs.
Batista and Randy Orton in that era, you started seeing a little more peeks into their life because it was written in, they would go to a house and fight a little bit more. But now it's just like, you can see a motherfucker walking down the street or doing a TikTok or something, you know what I'm saying? It's just, that's why it's different.
It's more open. It's more open. The tables, ladders, and chairs was always a nice addition to matches. It kind of pushed athletes in an arena that you weren't used to seeing him. Like seeing Shawn Michaels in a ladder match for the
I
belt.
think that killed his career.
You think? I think
his
so too.
career
Because
started.
because
his back was never the same from that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's why I'm not a fan of those. Like,
yeah.
Their
Well, it goes
career
back to
stories.
it goes back to what we were saying. Like, you can script that all day long,
but it's not. You can't.
but you still got to execute those moves
or hit that fucking ladder. That ladder
Yeah.
is unforgiving. Them
Oh,
chairs
no.
That's what I'm saying. It's in a movie. You can be the best stunt driver in the world.
That
But if
shit
you
still
gotta roll
catches
a
up
car-
with you.
If you roll a
Split
car,
second?
14 times in a row, eventually something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend is one of the best skydiving instructors I've ever seen. And I told him, I said, sooner or later you're gonna hit the ground and die doing this, right? I've got 2,617 jumps. I've never had an accident. Well, 2,618, his fucking parachute failed the thing and he hit the goddamn ground. He walked away from it. And now he's, 2 broken legs, hip operation, a steel rod on his spine. And this asshole was like, oh, it's time to go jump out of a plane again. And I was like, are you stupid?
Crazy.
Yeah.
He got
about 2018. What did you say? 2018.
2,618 jumps is what he had before a major accident. But it's like I told him.
Before me, because I ain't jumping.
Yeah. At some point, your luck is going to run out. And
this was meant to fly, I have wings.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you've ever watched anything with Raven.
Yeah.
Raven has a 165 IQ. One of the smartest guys to ever walk in a ring. And he spent his entire career getting hit in the head with objects and getting brain damage, basically. And he talks about it pretty extensively about how people would constantly tell him, why are you doing this? You could be a brain surgeon. He went to school to be a brain surgeon. And he didn't like it. He said, I liked beating people up, so I became a wrestler.
You can't fault him for that.
No.
Okay, great. I mean, hey, if getting hit in the head with stuff is your thing, then do your thing. But, I mean, it is what it is. Like, eventually at some point, your luck runs out. So whether you're off the top rope, whether you're off the top of a cage, whether it's on a ladder, a chair, whatever,
Yeah. So would you say now, to kind of pivot into groundbreaking moments in the Attitude Era, the female wrestler, you had people like China, you had Sable, Stratus, obviously Lita.
Hey, don't forget Jacqueline.
I didn't have her picture on me, but yeah, it was so many of them. It's so many. Jacqueline, but there were so many. Now,
Gail Kim, that was.
Here's Stacey, Tori, and Lita, Trish. Infamous bra and panties matches. That was all for the Jerry D. King Lawler. But I will honestly say that out of all these, like, China was a devastating force.
Yeah,
she was a force. Lita was surprisingly athletic because I mean, just when you really see, because she didn't. It wasn't
Lita
her
brought the Japanese style to America for the women.
Yes, that's what it is, and that's what it is.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't surprised.
They weren't used to seeing that.
She had moves.
Yeah, she did. Lita refused to be boxed into the bra and panty type of thing, and she said, "I can do more." And she brought that style that Japanese women had been doing for decades, and she just brought it and proved that women could do it, and kicked the door open for them to have those matches that you didn't have to be built like China to have that match. You didn't have to, you didn't have to be like, You don't have to be like the couple of the Glow wrestlers that were, 400 pounds and just had their size.
Just stocky
You know,
women and
Kong?
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
You didn't have to be
yes,
like Kong,
yes.
and just be a monster. Even though I've met her in real life, she's an absolute sweetheart.
She's like, oh
Um,
yeah.
But
I've seen some of her
don't
live.
don't get it twisted. When Kong came through the fucking curtain, you knew, much like APA, somebody was getting their ass kicked. And that was amazing. Like, it was just like, hell yeah, It
And
was,
I think that's really what, for me, like China, like I said, China was a force. She was an absolute brute. She was a brute when it came being in a ring, almost a bully to the degree. But watching Lita perform, like you said, CJ, she brought that Japanese style of wrestling, and that's what I'm like. Oh, this chick is jumping off the top rope.
Yep.
She's athletic. She's doing, and she was more action and less quiet.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't her mic performance. It was her performance in
No.
the ring that really just kicked ass.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, once she really started gaining that ground, she really got it. She really got respected behind it.
I mean, she could handle the mic work, but she wasn't, she wasn't
horrible at
mad.
everything.
She wasn't Christian, who was another one who I think was really underrated on the mic. I always enjoyed Stone Cold and Christian together. Because Christian would do his thing, and then Stone Cold would call him a creepy little bastard, and Christian would pat his face, and like, listen, you creepy little, and it was funny. It was meant to be that way.
He called Kurt Angle a neely mouth son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do remember him.
Two of the classic moments from that era. Stone Cold with the beer truck, and then turned around and drove the damn milk truck out. I mean, come on, dude. Like, you couldn't do that by today's standards.
There's a lot that you couldn't do. A lot of stuff that they caused property. They caused a shit ton of property damage.
Yeah,
in their
that's
time.
what I'm saying. Like, you couldn't.
That's why I appreciated people like. That's why I appreciated squads like D-Generation X, where they just like, and it really was a fact of them not liking what the writers were doing for them, and just going against the grain. Like, you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah,
we can't. We don't want to do this. We're not doing this. We're doing something totally. DC, I know you remember. Remember the time they had literally got in trouble for just saying anything, and that they had to come out and do the apology. But when they did the apology, it was like double entendre, and they were still goofing off.
Yeah,
like stuff like that. They were just like, they were just throwing.
The biggest DX fan.
Yeah,
but they had some of the best moments on screen besides like Stone Cold Rock, of course. But like the Sergeant Slaughter, where they had the fucking face mask with the wipers on it because he talking, spit in their face. You know what I mean? The skits they did, you know what I mean? Just the
Booker T had, was another one who I don't think people.
I just hated that spin. I hated that damn move. I hated that he called it.
And again, I didn't like the move, but again, I think people really didn't appreciate how good Booker really was.
Oh yeah,
as a wrestler and as a character. Like, he had that really great way of making other people look good, whether it was Stone Cold, whether it was The Rock, whether it was whoever, he just had a really good ability to banter back and forth with people. And, you didn't just say that. Tell me you just didn't say that.
There's some things they say. And
like,
okay. That just happened.
Like, he was one of them guys that I don't think really got nearly enough credit for his ability. And
it wasn't until maybe the closing of the Attitude Era, because by that time he was 5-time champion.
Yeah,
and he had to keep reiterating it that he was the 5-time champion.
And you have people now like Jay Lethal who couldn't do what Jay Lethal does without, Booker paving that path for him to be the type of character that he is. And of course, Jay is probably more influenced by Macho Man, but
And Ric Flair.
Yeah.
But
his Ric Flair impression is fucking spot on.
Well, right.
Macho Man.
But is he going to do that without Booker?
That's still funny to me, though.
Doing what Booker did first? Because without Booker coming along, Harlem Heat and those guys kicking that door down, opening those doors for black entertainers to be not just, and this used to drive me crazy. So please, nobody take this the wrong way. But one of the things that drove me crazy during that era and earlier eras was that promoters always had black wrestlers as one of three things. They were either the gangbanger, they were the shuck and jive, or they were the pimp.
Yep.
That drove me crazy that you could not have characters like Booker T. You couldn't have characters like Jay Lethal. You couldn't have characters like, you couldn't have a black character like Hogan. You couldn't have a black character like the Rock and Roll Express. They didn't allow it. And that drove me crazy because there were so many wrestlers that could have been much more than what they were.
Right.
Yeah.
You
And-
stuff like the whole train. And I'm like, did they really just
Yeah.
No, man. I like
Dude,
the whole train.
I mean,
What I'm
to me,
saying,
it's like the whole train, but it was the fact that it was the whole train. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean,
damn, they made you a
look,
pimp.
we talking about a time where things were a lot
Completely,
different. Like, we can look at it now.
Well, you
in
still could have.
hindsight.
You
With some
still
weird
could
level
have.
of cringe.
You still could have developed wrestlers
I mean, there
much
were-
more
Their personas.
with better stuff than what you allowed them to do. Okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, there were some shitty white characters too. I mean, it's
Well, there was, but
I mean, but as
Oh,
far
what
as
was it?
the-
What, like beaver cleavage?
The fucking Repo Man,
The Repo Man, right?
Brawler.
but you know what? Brawler made a hell of a career.
Oh, he was
Being the jobber.
ultimate jobber. He was the
Yeah.
jobber supreme. Like
Like-
he made a career out of taking ass whoopings. Like every now and then when they need somebody to get over there, like, who we got? Vince was like, let's bring in the jobber. Oh, I mean Repo, Brooklyn Brawler.
Just paid to get your ass whooped.
There is
All he did.
I just read an article and I can't remember the guy's name. You always seen them back in the day and even going forward. They were the two police officer wrestlers, the jobbers.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
This guy, he
Fandango
something
I think
along
that
the
was
line.
it.
and
He-
Prince Pretty. I can't remember his name.
But anyways, he was talking about, somebody asked him, why did you always want to be the jobber when you could have done so much more? And the guy told her, he's like, I was perfectly content with my position within that company. He's like, doing that allowed me to buy 3 houses, 2 boats, and a vacation home in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm 68 years old now, and I lay on the beach whenever I want.
Oh, you talking about an old guy? Damn.
Yeah. Like it was 2 white dudes. They were always like the state patrol. They were like officer 1 and officer 2 or something. And they always wrestled against like Ricky Steamboat and Tito Santana and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
What that does for them is when they're the jobber, they get paid.
Yeah.
They get paid enough without
Yeah.
having to live up to the hype.
Well, he didn't, and that was the thing. He's like, I could have been.
Yeah,
Any-
exactly.
He's like, but I was perfectly content just doing this, and it bought me 3 houses, 2 boats, and a retirement thing in the Bahamas, and now I lay on the beach in the Caribbean.
I mean, let's face it. Not everybody can be Dwayne Johnson or Stone Cold
Exactly.
or Booker T or Triple H.
Exactly.
None of them can be in that level can live to that level of fame
Yeah.
and keep it there, because look at how many iterations of a character they had to get to get to that point.
Yeah.
I mean, think, what was Stone Cold was before he became Stone Cold. He was what was it, Stunning Steve or something like that. I mean, like, it was so weird. He was in the tag team. and it was weird because it was weird.
Oh yeah, he was stunning Steve Austin. Him and Coleman were the Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah, Hollywood Blondes, and it was so weird seeing him with hair.
Yeah,
and you see older people, you be like, Stone Cold had hair.
Yeah.
It's weird. It was completely weird. So, before we get out of here, CJ, I want to know who is your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers of the Attitude Era?
Of the Attitude Era?
Yeah. Who was your Mount Rushmore?
I think just off the top of my head, without thinking about it, obviously you got Undertaker, you're gonna have Rock, you're gonna have Austin, and probably Triple H. I think those were the four guys that just, I think, carried that company. Right. Cena was the number one guy for a long time, but I think without Cena, they do okay. I think without the four I just named, the Attitude Era just is not what it
would not. I don't think it would have.
I don't think the WWE is what it is, Attitude Era or not, without those.
Yeah, because
four.
you still had the Legendary Era, which was the 80s.
Yeah.
But Attitude Era would not. The WWE would not be what it is today.
Yeah.
Without the Attitude Era, that's just what it is. I mean, it's no shade to Hogan and Macho Man, and because they owned that era. That was the superstar era. But the Attitude Era brought a whole nother level of fame, infamy, charisma, mic handling, just all out damage and destruction, you know, to the game, and it made people watch. Because let's face, when you're bringing Mike Tyson in, who was at the time at the height of his game, you know, and when you bring people in like at the pay-per-view at that time, you were buying WrestleMania,
right?
If you got mad because you just bought the Tyson fight and he won in less than a round, but they had a WrestleMania, you were buying a WrestleMania because you got like a 2 to 3 hour show. You got a show.
Tyson will always get my respect because that first Tyson and Holyfield fight, I made so much money off of Holyfield. I was in a room. Y'all are gonna laugh at this. My buddy Mo held a pay-per-view party. I was the only white dude in a house full of about 50 people. I had a $50 bet with every single person in that room because white boy don't know nothing about boxing. White boy is crazy. White boy is insane. White boy is stupid. He thinks Holyfield gonna be Tyson. Tyson ain't gonna lose. I was like, Tyson ain't built to buy a real boxer. I gave him all the reasons. I was crazy. I was stupid. When Tyson lost that fight, they were ready to lynch my ass. Okay. $2,500 in cash. I walked out with it. That second fight come around, went right back to Mo's house and said, "Who want to bet?" Ain't one of them boys take a bet with me because they knew I was, you know, and I love Tyson for that. Like, thank you. Like, you know, you made me.
But Tyson made for, but let's face it, Tyson made for an interesting.
Oh, I know.
He definitely made for whether it was 1 round or 3. Tyson made for an interesting match.
Sure, and he still does. He still does. I mean, Tyson is
that boy on the airplane found out real quick.
How dumb you got to be? Look, it is one thing to shit talk Mike Tyson.
Don't talk shit to Mike Tyson.
He threw a bottle of water in Tyson's face. That's what set Tyson off. As Tyson told him to shut up, and he stood up and he threw a water bottle at Tyson. How dumb do you got to be to throw a goddamn bottle of water at Mike Tyson?
Every person in America, every person in America said the same thing. You a damn fool.
Yeah, like you throw something at Tyson and run. You don't do it where you can't run. like
you are trapped in a cylinder tube, thousands of feet in the air. You are not. There is no air marshal that's gonna help you. There is nobody that's gonna be like,
you had that coming, bro. I don't feel bad for you. I really don't. Like, you know.
And he was just grinning and laughing about it. I'm like, Okay, he told you to leave him alone. Next, you
There was
know, Tyson was railing into him, short little bursts. I'm like, you know what? That's what your ass get.
there was an incident way back, and you didn't hear about this because he wasn't famous at the time. But when Mayweather was first coming up out of Flint, he went to a strip club. It was LT's. It was the name of the strip club. He had $10,000 chain in. He walked out, had 4 or 5 bodyguards with him at the time. His daddy was with him. Some dude snatched his chain, tried to run. Bodyguard picked him up, slammed the dude on his head. They kicked his ass in the parking lot. Whole big news story in Flint, Michigan about, the old Floyd, people beat this guy's ass in the parking lot. Well, you snatched dude's chain when he had 3 bodyguards that were the size of fucking Omis with him. The hell did you think was gonna happen? Like you had that coming, bro. Like, they could have shot you and nobody would have blinked an eye. In Flint, like, you only got an ass whipping. Like, okay, you better take it and go home. Like, it's Mayweather. Yeah, like it's Floyd Mayweather. Even he wasn't 49-0 at the time. I think he was like 18-0 at the time, 15-0, something like
just coming up the game.
But he was still Floyd Mayweather. People knew him. He was still a 3-time Golden Gloves champion. His daddy was still, Floyd Sr. They were well known in Flint. It wasn't like nobody knew who Floyd was. They knew who Floyd was in high school. Yeah. Floyd was a celebrity. Okay, so it wasn't like he was snatching the chain of just anybody. Yeah. Dude knew. So whatever, like,
Well, CJ, it's the end of the show. Where can they find you?
Just type in this right here, Music God CJ playing, and it'll be everything's on YouTube now, basically. But I have Riot on the Set Media.rocks as well, that we're redoing and all of that. So that's mainly where we have the new podcast, the Racket Brackets, where we're gonna bring on. I got a comic book one for you, bro. It's
count me in. I'll shoot you my. I should be open after this week. I should be open. I should have an opening this week after this week.
Yeah, we're gonna do wrestling ones. We're gonna do music ones. We're gonna do movie ones, TV shows. We're just gonna take really crazy stuff. I have a big. It's I think wheelofnames.com or something. You put everything in there. You just spin or give you a name. You spin, give you a name. So it's going to be random. I don't know. It isn't me picking the brackets. You could end up with anybody. I mean, you could end up with Ric Flair versus, The Rock in the first round. And at that point, you just kind of got to go with it. And
that makes for an interesting concept that I have that I'm playing with. And
that's what I'm saying. You just going to have a first.
You after the show. I ask you after the show. DC. Where can they find you, my brother?
Everywhere. That's all I'm going to say about that. If you don't know by now, I'm tired of talking and I ain't got shit else to say to you. And that's all I got to say about that.
Old sense.
That is the right. Sans belt. I was expecting the belt to come out on that promo hit. Yeah. Oh man.
Find me if not. They ain't been listening. I'm tired of talking to them.
What we got for tomorrow?
Season finale. Season 5 is ending tomorrow night.
Kicking ass, taking names later.
The last 5 seasons. Season 6 is about to get a whole lot crazier.
Oh man.
I love seeing you blow up, man. Like it's cool to watch.
Oh, March, June 17th. Wait. I just got the flyer. There's a special event going on. I can't say nothing about it yet because it ain't my deal. Just know next month is about to be crazy. We got Queenish and Kingish coming back. Season 6 starts June something or rather. Just know next month is about to be crazy.
Date, tentative date. We just can't think of it right now.
July. Oh no, I got the dates for Queenish and Kingish. I know when those are. July 26th. That week or the week before, 2-year anniversary of What the Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, we got We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary back in April, but we are coming up on our 100th episode pretty soon. So stay tuned for that.
Congratulations.
And in lieu of that, you can catch me here, Blurred's Eye View on IG. You'll find the link tree there as well. That tells you everywhere you can go to. You can check us out on iHeartRadio as well. And Opulence Radio, our new partnership with them. And as I said, with every show, remember to educate yourself and others, entertain yourself and others, and most of all, encourage yourself and others. And when you have something nice to say about somebody, damn it, say it. And then encourage yourself. But until then, when we turn in next Tuesday, well, this Thursday, because we're doing I got a special spoiler review of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Tune in for that this Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Same time, same place. And as always, we will see you on the other side when we talk to other blurs and nerds about the things that only we can. This is Chris Fury, your man on the wall, and we are out of here.